Well, we said going into the Belgian Grand Prix this weekend that there'd be plenty to discuss from off the track, and that all kicked off with Audi announcing that they would be joining Formula 1 in 2026 and hope to be competitive in 3 years after joining the sport. But what else has been going down at Spa-Francorchamps in the last 2 days or so? Here's our qualifying recap and the news in Formula 1 with GPFans. Lando Norris hopes he can use Max Verstappen and Charles Leclerc on Sunday at the Belgian Grand Prix, as all three drivers will find themselves starting towards the back of the grid. The trio were the fastest drivers on Friday in practice, but due to power unit changes, all three will have to work their way through the field on race day in order to secure any scoring positions. But the McLaren driver feels he can actually use the two championship protagonists to his advantage, saying, "I know they will be coming past me at some point fairly quickly, so in whatever way I can use them to get past the guys ahead, I'll see. You'll never know. It's hard to plan all of these things. You can put some pieces together, but until you get to Sunday, it's hard to know." We'll see what Norris can do on Sunday's race day, and if he can use the fastest two on the grid to his advantage. Staying with Max Verstappen, and the Dutchman has been handed a warning by the FIA following an investigation into an alleged breach of practice start protocol. At the end of second practice on Friday for the Belgian Grand Prix, the Red Bull driver clearly cut in line to conduct a practice start. The reigning F1 champion could have been handed an additional grid penalty in addition to those already received for his power unit and gearbox changes, but has avoided any further punishment. A steward's statement read, "At 17:59 during the second practice, the driver of car 1 passed a car that was in line to do practice starts and cut into the line to do a practice start, hereby not leaving in the order he arrived. This is a breach of the race director's event notes, and the stewards issue a warning." So a warning for Verstappen. Will there be any warnings on track around Spa-Francorchamps for the Belgian Grand Prix? Let us know in the comments section below as always. But now, let's dive into our recap of what actually happened when action got going in qualifying this Saturday.
A surprising couple of faces in the bottom 5 of Q1, with Sebastian Vettel falling foul of a stellar Alex Albon lap in the Williams as he joined Nicholas Latifi, Kevin Magnussen, Yuki Tsunoda and Valtteri Bottas in the bottom 5. Albon would knock off a few more as well with his last lap of Q2, able to jump in front of Danny Ricciardo in the McLaren, who joined Pierre Gasly, Zhou Guanyu, Lance Stroll and Mick Schumacher, all out of the top 10 shootout. Albon's top 10 finish would ensure his Williams would be at least 6th on tomorrow's grid, with Verstappen, Leclerc, Norris and Esteban Ocon all taking engine penalties despite making the top 10, with Mick Schumacher and Valtteri Bottas further down the grid also taking hits. Those penalties also meant that Verstappen's pole lap meant nothing to the front row of the grid, while Carlos Sainz was able to take tomorrow's pole despite Ferrari's foul-ups with Charles Leclerc continuing and a slight off into the gravel from the Spaniard. He was behind the Dutchman in Q3, finishing second, with Perez joining him on the front row. Fernando Alonso and Lewis Hamilton will make up the second row of the grid after everybody else's grid penalties in front of them, with George Russell and Alex Albon 5th and 6th for tomorrow's race.
So that's everything you need to know before race day at Spa-Francorchamps. Let us know in the comment section as always who you think is going to be on top of the podium, and gpfans.com for all of your news across this racing weekend.